What's up, fantasy managers? Welcome back to another episode of the First Pitch Podcast brought to you by PitcherList.com. My name is Jake Crumpler, and I'll be your host for this edition of the podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Crumpler, and you can find all of my work at crumplerbaseball.com. Let's dive into everything baseball related from Tuesday, April 15th, starting it off as always with the transactions, injuries, news, and notes from around the league. We were lucky enough to get away from this day with no significant IL placements, so no bad news today. We'll start it off with our transactions as outfielder Jesus Sanchez was activated from the 10-day IL. He had been out for the beginning of the season with an oblique strain. Last year, he batted .252 with 18 homers and 16 steals, so he's definitely worth rostering, at least in 15-team leagues. That's Jesus Sanchez. He should take over every day in center field for the Marlins, forcing Derek Hill into a platoon with left fielder Griffin Conine. So that's Jesus Sanchez back from the IL. Next, we have second baseman Matt McLain, who was activated from the 10-day IL. He was out with a hamstring strain for the last couple weeks. He will reclaim everyday duties at second base for the Reds, forcing Santiago Espinal into a utility role in Cincinnati. So that's Matt McLain back in the lineup for the Reds. Next, we have outfielder Austin Hayes, as he was also activated from the 10-day IL by the Reds. He had been out for the start of the season with a calf injury. He started at DH against a righty in his season debut, forcing Spencer Steer to the short side of a platoon in left field with Gavin Lux. He was on the bench, though, on Tuesday, though Steer's been struggling to start the season, so I think that's probably the reason why he hit the bench. Maybe he needed a day off. I think he should be the everyday DH for the Reds moving forward, with Hayes and Lux doing a left field platoon, because Hayes is more of a lefty killer than Steer is, and I'd love to see Steer in there every single day. It makes more sense as a young player, especially with some positional versatility there. Having him stuck at DH sort of sucks, but I think he should probably get more playing time moving forward. But right now, the indicators are that Hayes might be the everyday DH for the Reds moving forward. And the last transaction for the Reds was activating activating, relief pitcher Alexis Diaz from the 15-day IL. He had been out to start the season with a hamstring strain. Apparently, he won't be the closer right away after being the team's closer for the last 3 seasons. Terry Francona said as much on Tuesday. It looks like Emilio Pagan and Tony Santillan will continue to handle the late innings there in Cincinnati, but Diaz could work his way into the 9th inning there and finally get some saves under his belt for 2025. In corresponding moves, the Reds optioned Noelvi Marte and Jacob Hurtubise to the minors. Marte's probably the most fantasy relevant one, but he hadn't been off to a good start this season. Maybe those performance-enhancing drugs really were making him the prospect that he was, but you never know. Next, we have Vidal Brujan, who was activated from the 15-day IL. He had been out to start the season with a sprained elbow, but really the most notable result of this was Matt Shaw being optioned to the minors. He had been the Cubs' everyday third baseman at the start of the season, and he was one of their top prospects as well, but he'd batted 172 with just 1 home run, so really struggling to start the season against his first taste of major league pitching. So it looks like Gage Workman and John Birdie will take over at third base in a platoon. Next, we have starting pitcher Logan Henderson, who was recalled from the minors by the Brewers. Yes. Elvin Rodriguez was optioned to the minors in a corresponding move. Henderson's the number 12 Brewers prospect. He pitched to a 3.32 ERA with a 33% strikeout rate last year and just a 5% walk rate at AAA. He'll make his season debut sometime this weekend, likely against the A's. Henderson, definitely an underrated prospect in my books, compared just by looking at his minor league numbers. High strikeout numbers, low walk numbers, pretty good ERA. I don't know what's holding him back in terms of prospect rankings. I wouldn't send him out there in his first start, but he's definitely someone to keep an eye on. That's Logan Henderson of the Brewers. In terms of news, Bobby Miller will be recalled to start against the Rockies for the Dodgers on Wednesday. He had a 2.25 ERA and 11 strikeouts in 3 AAA appearances before this eventual call-up, but that also came with 11 walks. So 11 strikeouts to 11 walks in 12 innings for Bobby Miller in AAA. Rocky Road is a soft landing for him in his season debut, but he's clearly not fixed. I wouldn't send him out there against the Rockies because his control issues are definitely not fixed. Next, we have starting pitcher Cater Montero, who will be recalled from the minors by the Tigers to start in Milwaukee on Wednesday. He had a 4.76 ERA and an 18.7% strikeout rate in 19 appearances as a 23-year-old rookie last year. It's Cater Montero. In AAA, in 2 AAA starts so far this year, 2.79 ERA and an 11-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. I probably watched this one from afar. This is probably just a spot start for Montero, as the Tigers aren't sending down any of their starters. AJ Hinch just wanted to give some more rest to the rest of the rotation. So Montero will probably just be up for this start and then back to the minors. So probably not worth picking up or streaming. I'd also like to issue a reminder as we close out this section that Spencer Strider and Clark Schmidt both return on Wednesday to make their season debuts. Should be exciting on both ends. Now we'll check out the notable performances from Tuesday, a day in which we had a full slate of 15 games. We'll start it off with our hitters, leading off with outfielder Alan Rodin, who helped the Blue Jays to a win versus the Braves, going 2 for 3 with 2 runs, a double, a home run, and 2 runs batted in. It was his first home run of the year and the first of his career. Traveled 397 feet at 106 miles per hour. And Alan Rodin displayed great discipline in the minors and in spring training, earning him the call up to start the season. He was the number 5 Blue Jays prospect to start the season. At AA and AAA last year, he batted 293 with 16 homers and 14 steals. So clearly has some potential. He's been on the strong side of a left field platoon so far to start the season. This is Alan Rodin, and he's continued to display the above average contact skills that made him such a high ranked prospect for the Blue Jays. Throughout the minor leagues, he was like a 12% walk rate and 14% strikeout rate. So really good discipline and contact metrics from Alan Rodin, but he's shown absolutely no pop so far in the majors. Like I said, 16 homers between AA and AAA last year, but we haven't seen any barrels from him so far. So I'm not sure we're going to see a lot of power from him moving forward. He should be a guy that can produce in the batting average department, but I don't think he has a ton of speed. So he may be sort of empty batting average. I think he's really only an option in deep points leagues because he doesn't strike out, and maybe AL only leagues because he plays quite a lot. Next, we have outfielder Angel Martinez, who helped the Guardians to win in Baltimore, going 3 for 4 with 2 runs, a triple, and a steal. It was his first steal of the year. And Martinez has gotten off to a really hot start, caught my eye, batting .571 through his first few games of the season. And I really wanted to look into him. And it looks like he's not a super highly ranked prospect for the Guardians. He debuted last year, not too much acclaim. He's more of a bat to ball utility type player, probably somebody that's not going to be an everyday type player throughout his career, and probably won't be super fantasy relevant because he's not going to show a bunch of pop or a bunch of steals. Literally, positional versatility was noted as his best skill. And really, he's only playing right now because Lane Thomas is currently dealing with an injury and is on the bench. So Martinez is likely to head back to the bench or even the minors once Lane Thomas is healthy. So I don't think Martinez is worth a pickup despite the success he's had early in the season. Lastly, we have first baseman Rhys Hoskins, who helped the Brewers to win versus the Tigers, going 3 for 4 with a run, a home run, and 2 runs batted in. It was his first home run of the year, and it traveled 440 feet at 107 miles per hour. This is Hoskins' second season removed from his ACL injury, and it's his second season in Milwaukee. He's gotten off to a really slow start. As I mentioned, just his first homer. He's got a 658 OPS and a 229 average, so really rough start for Hoskins in 2025. His barrel rate is astonishingly low, like 3% type beat. Yeah, there we go. That's the right thing to say. And usually he's a guy who's producing double-digit numbers in that department. So that's somewhat concerning. He's been a line drives hitter this year. This is Rhys Hoskins. I think this should even out throughout the year, and I don't think we're going to see a different version of Rhys Hoskins this year. I don't think he's ever really going to have that huge breakout, and I don't really expect him to have a huge down season either. We're likely looking at 25 homers with a batting average that hurts you a little bit. But if you'd like a breakdown of other notable hitting performances from Tuesday, check out the Daily Batters Box article over on pitcherlist.com. Now we'll head to the mound and check out some notable starting pitching performances, opening with Jake Irvin, who helped the Nationals to win in Pittsburgh, tossing 7 scoreless innings, allowing 3 hits and 1 walk while striking out 6. He induced 10 whiffs with 33% CSW across 87 pitches, and Irvin relied heavily on his curve to both righties and lefties in this one, to the tune of 3 whiffs and 31% CSW, which allowed his low 90s heater to play up, getting a lot of called strikes and also playing up because he's got 7 feet of extension on that pitch. It induced 3 whiffs with 46% CSW. He did a really good job of avoiding the middle of the plate against right-handed hitters with the fastball upstairs and the curveball generally low with sinkers inside as well. So there was a pretty good 3-pitch mix for Jake Irvin against righties, and then against lefties, he had great curve location downstairs and arm side with his fastball located upstairs, as well as some occasional sinkers and changeups. And I think this could work for Jake Irvin moving forward as a streamer in standard leagues and throughout the year as a hold in 15 teamers. I think Jake Irvin is somebody that needs to be rostered universally in 15 team leagues because he's going to hold this rotation spot and he's got a deep enough arsenal to handle both righties and lefties. And that curve should honestly help him in any single start. That curve is really good. The fastball, even though it's not great, he's got enough supporting pitches that he should be fine. He gets the Rockies in Colorado next. I'm probably not streaming that one, but after that, I think Jake Irvin should be fine. Next, we have Tyler Mahle, who helped the Rangers to win versus the Angels, tossing six shutout innings, allowing 3 hits and 2 walks while striking out 9. He induced 18 whiffs with 34% CSW across 93 pitches. And Mahle has gotten off to an incredible start to the season with a 0.92 ERA across his first 4 starts of the season. In this one, his fastball was back up to 92 miles per hour after sitting at 90 last start, which was really concerning, but it thrived in this one upstairs against a righty-heavy lineup on the Angels. Mahle induced 11 whiffs and 35% CSW with his 4-seamer, and he paired it with a mix of splitters and sliders and a few cutters. His control of the splitter downstairs and arm side was really good, and it led to 5 whiffs and 30% CSW. And honestly, all Mahle really needs is one of his secondaries to step up if his fastball is going to perform like this, and he'll get his real test of the season against the Dodgers next. Mind you, Mahle's got the Red Sox, the Rays, and then the Cubs in Chicago in his first 3 starts. So I wouldn't really say those were underperforming lineups, but this will be the real test against the Dodgers next for Tyler Mahle. And lastly, we have Quinn Priester, who helped the Brewers to win versus the Tigers, tossing 5 scoreless innings, allowing 1 hit and 3 walks while striking out 4. He induced 7 whiffs with 24% CSW across 84 pitches. Priester chucked a bunch of sinkers for strikes, earning 11 called strikes and 1 whiff for 35% CSW, and he paired it with a slider versus right-handed hitters for 4 whiffs and 25% CSW, and then against the left-handed hitters, wasn't great. Changeup, cutter, curveball for just 2 whiffs and 10% CSW combined. This is clearly an unsustainable start for Quinn Priester, with sinker called strikes as his main source of success here, and a lack of secondary success against left-handed hitters. And he got Coors in his first start and now handled the Tiger. So I would say those are pretty good tests, but I'm not really believing it right now with Quinn Priester. He gets the Giants in San Francisco next. If he succeeds there, then maybe I'll have to buy in. I'm maybe forced to, but right now he's not showing me enough with the sinker called strikes being his calling card to pick him up in really any league right now other than really, really deep leagues. But if you'd like a breakdown of every single start from Tuesday, give the Plus Pitch podcast a listen and check out Nick's daily SP roundup over on pitcherlist.com. Now we'll head to the bullpen and check out some relievers that got saves and the closers that pitched outside of save situations or blew their saves. Starting with the former, Matt Strahm recorded his first save of the season with a perfect 9th. Jose Alvarado got the 8th in that one. He faced the top of the order, so that made sense there. Alvarado is still the closer for the Phillies. Next, Yohan Duran recorded his first save of the season. Wow, took him a while. He pitched a scoreless 9th, and I think we may see a low save total from Yohan Duran this season as Baldelli sort of plays with his usage, and Duran sometimes struggles when he faces batters that are good. Next, we have Caleb Thielbar, who recorded his first save of the season for the Cubs with a hitless 10th. Ryan Presley earned his first win of the season in that one with a perfect 9th in a tie ball game, so he's clearly still the closer for the Cubs. Next, we have Mitch Spence, who recorded his first save, the first of his career, with a 3 shutout innings to close out the game, allowing 2 hits and no walks while striking out 2. So Mitch Spence, pretty impressive here for his first save. Kyle Finnegan recorded his 6th save with a perfect 9th. Emmanuel Clase recorded his 2nd save with a scoreless 9th. Aroldis Chapman recorded his 4th save, recording the final out of the game as Zach Kelly got into trouble attempting a 3-inning save. Chapman still chugging along there for the Red Sox. Devin Williams recorded his 3rd save with a perfect 9th, and Josh Hader recorded his 4th save with a perfect 9th. And in terms of closers to pitch outside of save situations or blow their saves, Robert Suarez pitched a scoreless ninth in a tie game that the Padres would go on to lose. Emilio Pagan pitched the ninth up by 4 for the Reds. They put on 2 insurance runs in the 8th, so it made sense. He was set up for a save there before pitching the ninth there. And then lastly, Luke Jackson pitched the scoreless ninth up by 4 for the Rangers. They put on 2 insurance runs in the ninth as well, so he was in line for a save before pitching that inning. But if you'd like more information on relief pitchers, make sure to check out Rick Graham's weekly articles over on pitcherlist.com. And before we look forward to today's games, we're going to take a quick break. Now we'll look forward to Wednesday, April 16th, a day in which we'll have a full slate of 15 games. My matchup of the day is Aaron Nola versus Robbie Ray. Of course, I'm going to be watching my Giants, but these are 2 great starters. Each of them can turn in an incredible start any night, and squaring off against each other should be fun to watch. Aaron Nola with his great curveball and Robbie Ray with his tight pants. In terms of probable starters, we've got 3 guys in the auto starts tier, including Aaron Nola. We've also got Spencer Strider in Toronto and Bryce Miller in Cincinnati. In terms of probable starters, or in our probably starts tier, we've got 9 guys, and that's where we'll find our streamer of the day. And that's Reese Olson, who's taking on the Brewers in Milwaukee. He's a Toby, not a good fastball, but if he's got his slider and changeup working, he could take down both right-handed hitters and left-handed hitters, so he could find success in that one. I'd also keep an eye out for Osvaldo Bido in Chicago, the south side of Chicago, against the White Sox. All he has to do is throw strikes. The White Sox lineup is not good. Bido isn't great, but if he throws strikes against the White Sox, he'll have success in this one. In terms of hitter suggestions, I go for Rockies hitters versus Bobby Miller. Like I said, the success at AAA is unwarranted. He is still walking too many guys, 11 strikeouts to 11 walks. I think that's going to continue here in his season debut. Rockies hitters are going to feast against Bobby Miller. I'd also go for Angels hitters versus Patrick Corbin. It's Patrick Corbin. He has not been great for a long time. Angels hitters could thrive against Corbin there. Next, I would go for Royals hitters versus Clark Schmidt. He's making his season debut, which is sort of scary coming off an injury. I think the Royals hitters may be able to pounce on him, catch him off guard. I'd also look at Mariners and Reds hitters in Great American Ballpark. Obviously, always a great place to hit. We'll see Bryce Miller versus Nick Martinez square off in that one. Martinez hasn't been great to start the season, but this is just a good ballpark to hit in. And lastly, I'd look at Red Sox and Rays hitters in Steinbrenner Field. It's played really offensive friendly, and we're seeing Sean Newcomb take on Zach Littell, neither of which have been strong to start the season. I think we could see an offensive display in Florida on Wednesday. And now we'll close things out with our relievers to watch. Aroldis Chapman has pitched in 3 of the past 4 days, so expect Justin Slayton to get an opportunity for a save today. Devin Williams has pitched in back-to-back days and in 3 of the last 4, but so has Luke Weaver. So we may see Mark Leiter Jr. get a save on Wednesday. And lastly, Yohan Duran has pitched in 3 of the last 4 days. So we could see Griffin Jacks get a save for the Twins on Wednesday. But that'll do it for today's episode of the First Pitch Podcast. Make sure to head on over to pitcherlist.com to check out all of the great articles and features we have on the site. Sign up for PL Plus or PL Pro to gain access to the Discord and to support the Pitcher List staff. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Crumpler. Tune in live on YouTube tomorrow and every day for a new installment of the podcast. And make sure to enjoy the day as we are blessed with another day of baseball.